positive. I mean, every surgery we take everything, whether they got AIDS, HIV. That's the way we have to presume that they are all. But so many other diseases we don't know what is happening, so we have to take the thing. Dr. Adiman and Dr. Yukesh, we cover both Malar Hospital and Fortis Malar as well as Fortis Malar. And this is the orthopedic department. We got another 5 doctors working in the department, and joint replacements, trauma mainly. Trauma accidents, falls, fractures, children, old people, any age group. And the other thing we do is joint replacement. We are famous for our department is good for joint replacement. That is knee replacement, hip replacement, shoulder, elbow, and ankle. Joint. We are very much interested in arthroscopy, keyhole surgery. We do a lot of sports injuries and arthroscopy. And another group of our doctors do spine surgeries. In the department of the orthopedics, bone involvement, the bone, muscle, and other involvement are we take care as a whole. And in the hospital, multidisciplinary. Any accident, any problem, head injury or spine injury, multiple fractures, we take care. One team work because blood bank is very 24 hours we there, and good other teams like ICU and anesthetists wait we just do it immediately, and the best results are because immediately results. The faster the thing, faster the treatment. And the patient is, we didn't want to put her here, so she's come on live. We can talk, we can ask for her interview also. That is even easy now with the FaceTime and video calls. So we arrange for that so that we can have an interaction with the patient. And so at the end, it is because of our hospital where we have 24 hours, all the departments available, the ICU, the transplant thing, and the blood bank, as well as the anesthetist 24 hours available. We are able to achieve all these results. If you lose at the beginning, the patient will be lost. They are breathless. Even if you leave them for an hour or two, it becomes irreparable lung changes. So immediately it was given, and the emergency treatment given, and she's back to normal now. So the best part about it is, she's like a normal person with all the movements of the elbow, even the turning around, the facing up, then bending the elbow. So this is really to get this achievement. I thank all my team, and these are my team doctors, Dr. Adiman and Dr. Yukesh. They are orthopedic surgeons too, and they are working with our team. And unfortunately, our main anesthetist, Dr. Vidya, and her team, and the ICU, Dr. Buddhadev and his team couldn't make it because of the work and this being this time, lunchtime. So this is what I want to tell you. Thank you. If you have any questions, please go ahead. And
they come for emergency surgeries, or they come with a lot of comorbidities, and we had a very all-round team, of anesthetists, ICU intensivists to treat them. So therefore, we have not, in the last 4 or 5 months, we have not shied away, like this case illustrates. We have not shied away from any case, even though the patient is COVID positive. We have never shied away from actually treating the patient for the problem that she is actually facing. With this, I will now pass the stage to Dr. Nandakumar Sundaram. Please, doctor, you can come and
associated other diseases like lung disease, and that lung disease was chronic obstructive airway disease. That itself is a very dangerous one to have for a chronic thing which she's been suffering. Also, she's got diabetes, hypertension, and heart disease. So all comorbidities were so high with this patient, and unfortunately at that moment she also suffered from COVID. And she got this virus, and she was having very high fever, short of breath, and by she slipped and fell down and broke her elbow. The director will talk about it, about the COVID. We were the lowest pricing hospital in the city. I am sure he knows about the charging. Our job is to do the surgery and get the patient out. And otherwise it was very reasonably done, and she was affordable for this about 3 weeks or so. I don't know how much the bill came.
No, this is for ICUs. We follow the common tricks because she's a COVID positive patient. For ICU, there is the government mandated seating of 50,000 per day, and for the ward it is 7,500 per day. We follow the government mandated pricing.
So it is very.
கையில ஃபுல்லா நவுத்துறீங்களா?
என்னங்க சார்?
கை மூவ்மெண்ட்ஸ்லாம் ஃபுல்லா பண்றீங்களாமா? கைய ஃபுல்லா நவுத்துறீங்களா?
கையவா?
எஸ்.
நல்லா நடந்துட்டா. ரைட்.
வெரி குட்.
ஓகே.
சரி மக்கில வச்சுக்கு.
ஓகே. And in breathing master.
மூச்சு பிரச்சனை எல்லாம் சரியாயிடுச்சா இப்போ?
என்னங்க சார்?
மூச்சு பிரச்சனை எல்லாம் சரியாயிடுச்சா? மூச்சு பிரச்சனை எல்லாம் சரியாயிடுச்சா?
என்ன சார்?
சுவாச பிரச்சனைங்க, மூச்சு பிரச்சனை எல்லாம் சரியாயிடுச்சுங்களா?
சரியா கிளியரா கேட்க மாட்டேங்குது சார்.
மூச்சு பிரச்சனை சரியாயிடுச்சுங்களா? மூச்சு விடுறது கஷ்டமா இருந்துச்சுல, அதெல்லாம் சரியாயிடுச்சா?
சரி பரவாயில்ல. Okay. Anyway, Fortis Malar, head of the department, and my team, Dr. Adima and Dr. Yukesh, team working development. We take care of both Fortis Malar and Fortis Vadapalle also. We work and including
music component sir, please.
Because of her condition was so bad, and that had to be first sorted out. So she went for that, and ICU, our team of doctors, which is headed by Dr. Buddhadev, and anesthesia is heading by Dr. Vidya, and that has helped this patient to recover, because intensive care is very important. It's teamwork. It is not only just the orthopedic, but we have to see the patient as a whole. And this patient was admitted straight to the ICU, and it took first with a high level of oxygen to give, and with a positive pressure, her oxygenation was increased and she became better slowly. But it took her 3 weeks. Okay, just hold it. Yeah. See, this is the fracture. What we see here is this fracture is in the elbow. The elbow joints are very complicated because it is near the joint. If there is a lot of other movements are there, so it's not like a ball and socket joint, like the hip or shoulder, where it is forgiving. Even any kind of a surgery, if you do and if the bone joins, then it is possible it will forgiving because of the ball and socket. It will cover the thing. But in elbow and ankle or the knee joint is not a complicated joint because certain movements are there, and if you don't get it, she will get a complete stiffness, and also the functionless it becomes. Being a right hand dominant hand, so it's very important for her to get that. But to do the surgery, first of all, we can't do under local anesthetic. This fracture is in the proximal limb, so where we have to give general anesthesia. So that is where our anesthetic team comes into play. And to get them fit for anesthesia first, the ICU doctors have done the work first, to get her oxygenation better, and at one level she became fit for that window period. They became a little fit, so we took them out. So we took her out for surgery. Then this shows the CT, the CT of the elbow, how many fragments are there. You can see that so many other fragments are there involving the joint itself. It is broken, I'm sure.
She came to Malar. We stabilized the patient. We kept the patient for almost 3 weeks in the hospital. And then Dr. NKS took a very, found a very small window of opportunity and did a very complicated surgery. 3 days later, the patient came out of the ICU and she became normal. In fact, you can see her live here. Just a couple of things I want to add. Malar has treated so far around 600 COVID positive patients with a 96%.
These are all the fractures, and the joint itself is gone. And you see that this is the X-ray. X-ray shows two-dimensional, and we need three-dimensional is by taking the CT. So once we get a CT, we know how to organize it. And so what this shows further pictures in different directions we take it to plan our surgery. So because this another complication with this patient is that we have to put her in a position where we put it upside down, face down, so that the elbow can be approached by detaching this bone. We detach this bone from there with the muscle, and so that we can approach here. And this elbow is complicated because of the vessels and the nerve and other things are in and around the joint. So you have to make sure that which goes around all around this place, and we have to put a plate there so that we get a full movement. So these are all a little challenging for the surgery. And see, this is what has been done. At the end, we put both sides plates so that all the fracture has been reconstructed back. And this is the spot where we removed that bone, reflected, and got it back. So once you do something like this, the bone is very weak. Because she's 70 years old, the ladies also have the problem of osteoporosis. That means the bone becomes very weak, the calcium and vitamin D3 level goes down. So it's very important to even support, and fixing these plates are challenging because it can come out, because the bone is not strong enough. So there is a newer one, we have all locking plates, so where the screw locks to the bone as well as the plate. So it helps in the healing. So because we have one chance, if you don't do it correctly at that one chance, she will suffer lifelong, with the stiff elbow. And when your elbow is stiff, you can't do anything, you can't use your dominant hand, right hand. So this is the final one to show. She got fully recovered from this, and there is no problem even with any COVID or any other comorbidities also. We can, with our teamwork, and if it is done at the right time and the right team is there, in our Fortis Hospital, we are going in with not only this kind of operation, all the other things have been done during this period. Whether COVID time is there, all the team was working as normal. I just, anything else you want to ask us?
What was the sugar level for her?
Sugar level was very high when she came because of the infection. Normally the diabetes and the infection goes together, it's a vicious cycle. If there is infection, diabetes doesn't get controlled. If diabetes is not controlled, the infection gets worse because of the sugar level is high, So she came with a very high sugar level of, I think, 400, 360 or something like that, okay?
What was the level while you are doing operation?
Oh, that was brought down completely to normal. Otherwise, we can't take her. She's not fit for surgery. I mean, unless we get her hemoglobin, that is the blood level normal, her oxygen level in the lungs normal, heart functioning normally, and the diabetes under control, we cannot take her to operation theatre. I mean, how do we put her into sleep? They cannot even come out of it, So that level, that is why we get the whole team, the cardiologist, renal physician, and others to work with her. Once they clear, only we do it. And her diabetes was completely controlled. Now she's perfectly alright. I mean, she's got no issues at all. She looks so well after that. After the thing. Earlier she was she came in a wheelchair and in a stretcher with short of breath, and so it's very heartwarming to see that she's done well.
But
in the ICU and 7,000 per day in the thing. So we follow the government rules and
Tell me about your infrastructure about this particular surgeries in the Malar Hospital. Operation theatres.
Sorry?
How many operation theatres were like infrastructure?
Oh, infrastructure in Malar, we have 3 operation theatres in our first floor. There are 2 operation theatres in third floor and second floor is a cardiac. Then we have another 2 theatres in the another block. So we have totally 6 theatres. These are all properly, for the laminar flow and for the surgical whatever we need, we have there. We can do any kind of surgery there. Neurosurgery or cardiac. Cardiac has got a separate floor itself. They have that angioplasty room followed by the theatre and then the ICU and things like that. Then we have transplant also. We can do that because two theatres are adjacent theatres. So we can transplant do at the same time. And orthopedic theatre, we have one theatre especially for us. So one theatre is because it is orthopedics, you have to have a complete clean air. Clean air is very, very essential because any infection in bone, it doesn't go easily. It stays forever. So we have to be very careful with the orthopedic cases. So we have a separate theatre for orthopedics.